Okay, thankfully the Evil Dead coverage is almost over. We're going to finish it off with a nice ranking, but to change it up a little bit, I'm going to go best to worst instead of worst to best, because it doesn't even matter, right? So let's do it. What's up, guys? Welcome to another Drumdums franchise ranking video. I'm going to do the Evil Dead franchise. This will be the first time I've ever ranked this franchise. And just to be a little weird and different, I'm going to go best to worst. You're going to get my number one first, and then you're going to get the least favorite last. Because I think some people, they're just as curious about what's the worst as they are as to what's the best, right? So we'll have some fun with this. Maybe shake it up a little bit. And also, I had my DD Live last night, and I clipped out a section when I was talking about is the new movie woke? And I did not expect the fallout from that. And in a weird way, I got attacked, I think, more by the people that I was defending. It was so weird. And you know what? Full disclosure, here's the thumbnail that I used right here. I don't know if you call it clickbait. It's woke with a question mark. I think that's pretty obvious. And is this movie woke? That's all I'm asking, okay? And people thought I was saying the movie was woke. And I said, did you watch the video? And of course they didn't watch the video. But you know, people said I was clickbaiting. I don't know. Maybe I was. Who knows? I mean, you gotta make those thumbnails enticing. But I wasn't saying this movie's woke! Exclamation point. I was just saying woke question mark. So I was quite surprised. I was defending you people. I was here for you. But yeah, that's the internet. That's Twitter for you. Okay. So wow, it was quite interesting. I didn't expect that, but you know, it's okay. It's okay. I'll take the loss. I'll take the L. All right. But anyway, still don't think it's woke, by the way. Love the movie to death. So anyway, let's start with number one. And by the way, I don't have anything written down. This might be one of the toughest rankings I'll ever do, just because this is a great franchise. Okay. I can tell you right now, I know exactly what's the worst, okay? And that'll be the last one I tell you, okay? But I don't know what the best one is, all right? I'm still racking my brain, and I gotta make this one count, right? So, oh, and before we get into this, I have not watched Ash vs. Evil Dead, and I've heard it's great, and I'm kicking myself for not watching it, but I don't really like including TV shows in rankings for movies anyway. If it was like a whole bunch of different TV seasons, then maybe, but I think that kind of, it's just weird to do that. So anyway, let's get into this. Number one, right out the gate, I'm going to go with Evil Dead 2. And if you asked me last year, I wouldn't have said Evil Dead 2. And I'll say this right now, I could rank this franchise 5 times in a row and I'd get 5 different rankings probably. That's how close the first 4 movies are. Like, this is the one franchise that has 4 movies that are just top notch, like almost 5 out of 5 for me, okay? The only other franchise I can think of is the Alien franchise. I love Prometheus, Covenant, Alien, and Aliens. I think all 4 of those movies are top freaking notch. Okay, so yeah, but Evil Dead 2, I just reviewed it not too long ago. I think last month, and I gave this movie another watch. And this movie is groundbreaking. I think it's one of the most important horror films ever made. You know, as far as like making the perfect horror comedy. And really, this is one of the first, not the first, but this was Bruce Campbell's movie. I think this was the one that he nailed it the most, you know? And putting him in the one location, in the cabin, and just coming up with a freaking smorgasbord of great ideas to play with throughout, you know? And keeping it interesting and fresh and scary and hilarious. And it's all there. And you got the nice supporting cast coming in like in the middle of the movie. And there's so many great gags and one-liners and groovy with the chainsaw. It's a jolt of adrenaline. The entire movie is a jolt of adrenaline. And it's a rush. So I think it definitely belongs at number 1. Okay, number 2, as of right now, I'm gonna go Evil Dead Rise. How about that for a surprise? And that might just be because of the high that I am right now on this movie, but it's that good and it's that refreshing. I love the new setting in the high-rise building. I don't necessarily need this to be the bloodiest, goriest Evil Dead movie, because it's not. But it's still plenty bloody and gory. And I like that you had the two sisters and the kids and everything. You know, it's just a different dynamic than we're used to. It kind of ups the stakes. And I'll even say, I think this might have my favorite final act out of the entire franchise. I won't spoil anything since this movie's so fresh and new. I think they saved the best as far as the blood and guts and the gore for last. That's not to take anything away from what comes before, though, because there's some nice bone-chilling scenes in there, like when, you know, the girl eating the glass, you know, and it's coming through her neck, stuff like that. But also, I gotta give high praise to not one, but two great starring female roles in this, Alyssa Sutherland and Lily Sullivan, who played Beth. Alyssa played Ellie, who was the Deadite throughout the movie. And both of them give phenomenal performances, very different performances, because especially Alyssa having to play the Deadite, the mother Deadite, and she was downright freaking creepy, wanting to kill her own children. So pretty gnarly stuff. So number 3, I think I'm going to, and it's, guys, it's really this freaking close. It's this hard, but I'm going to go with, let's go with the remake, the Evil Dead remake from 2013. And I think a lot was riding on this movie because this was the first movie that didn't have Ash. Not really. And it depended on a great performance by Jane Levy. And I think as far as going for the jugular and being a pure bloodbath of a movie that never, ever lets up, like you are gripping your chair throughout the entire movie. And I love that about the remake. It is relentless. That's the perfect word for it. And it takes something out of you when you're done with it, you know? The character Mia, I think is one of the most interesting characters out of this franchise, aside from Ash, of course, because of the arc that she has to go through. You know, this drug addict who becomes a Deadite, and then she has to die, and then she comes back, and it's almost like a rebirth, rekindling her relationship with her brother. You really just wanted to give this character a big hug by the end of the movie for what she has to go through. She has to freaking cut off her own hand to put on the chainsaw, and then it's literally raining blood at the end of the movie, Slayer style. Is there a Slayer cut of that scene? There's gotta be, right? But wow. The remake is such a great freaking remake. It is probably one of my all-time favorite remakes, if I'm being honest. It's a great horror movie. So that would be my number 3. Number 4 is going to be the original Evil Dead. And I'm just in awe of the backstory of this movie, how it really feels like, you know, just guerrilla filmmaking, a bunch of college kids out in the woods. And I know that they actually had to shoot this, like, I think on weekends. So it wasn't just a one shoot over a short period of time. No, they literally had to constantly keep working to put this movie together. It's inspiring, you know, and it's really creative and scary. I mean, the effects, of course, you can tell that they are kind of homemade type effects, but they still work and they're still really creepy. But this was like the inception of the Deadite cam, you know, that camera that's just coming towards you like an evil demon. If an evil demon directed this movie, that's what it would be like. This is one of the few movies that literally scares the shit out of me just by the camera work. Very few movies can do that. And Sam Raimi, I think he pretty much created that, you know, and it still works to this day. And so many directors have straight up copied it through the years. And this movie had balls. You know, there are scenes in this movie that Sam Raimi regrets doing, you know, with the tree violation scene. Stuff of legend. And I think the best horror movies, they cross that line, you know, and they've become the stuff of legend. And that's what the original Evil Dead did. So now it's obvious what the last movie is, but let me just say, these first 4 movies, I could have put either one of them at number 1, and I would have been completely fine with it. That is how tight of a ranking this is. The quality of these 4 movies is almost 5 out of 5 for me. Number 5 is Army of Darkness, and I think Army of Darkness, there's a lot of great stuff going for it. I think they leaned much more on comedy than they did horror. There's some pretty awesome moments with Ash. You know, I mean, Bruce Campbell had to carry this thing, and you know, he's got like the 2 heads in the one scene. There's like a whole bunch of Ashes, little Ashes, like torturing Big Ash, and it's just a really wild and crazy, zany movie. And you got the Deadite army. You know, it's ambitious. It's really ambitious. I think they did have some trouble behind the scenes, but it is the one Evil Dead movie that I really can kind of do without. I don't. I always have a tough time getting through the whole thing, and that's not to take away from the quality of the movie. I think it's just a personal preference. When I want Evil Dead, I want the other four, you know. And the only one that I love that's like comedy is Evil Dead 2. And I will admit, it took me a long time to really appreciate Evil Dead 2. But that movie is a masterpiece, and that's why I put it at number 1. So yeah, that's it, guys. That is my ranking for the Evil Dead franchise. Tell me if you liked how I did this, doing the best to worst, or was that kind of annoying? You know, I'm always welcoming and thankful for your feedback, so I appreciate it, guys. So anyway, let me know down in the comments your rankings. You can do best to worst, worst to best, whatever you want, and I'm looking forward to getting down there in the comments and chatting with you guys. Also, be sure to come over to Killer Flex, where we talk horror all day and every day. And on Fridays, we do Fear for Fridays. Follow me at Drumdums on my socials. Support me on Patreon. Buy me a coffee. And anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Drumdum out.